Transformers Rise of the Darkspark, bad game in disguise.
That's just about the only enjoyable thing you're ever going to hear about Transformers. That.
Yeah,
Thanks, Josh. You just
that's
made
fine.
it a more palatable experience.
Yes, so Transformers Rise of the Darkspark, it is the latest shovel game from Activision from their licensed properties, and you know what? It's just disappointing from start to finish, and especially disappointing because Activision have actually made some decent Transformers games in the past couple of years. The War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron games, released back in 2010, were pretty good. And they were from High Moon, and for some reason, Activision have taken them off the project, handed it to Edge of Reality, and, well, we've been left with a hot mess on our hands.
Yeah, unfortunately, just not very much to say that's positive about this one. Gameplay's pretty dull. Moving from Autobot to Decepticon, really not that much fun. All the weapons are basically the same. Textures are awful. Level design's really bland. It's very corridory. Yeah, just not very good.
It's going to sound like we're slamming it, but in reality, it's just so mundane that there's very little to say about it that's positive. So, I mean, at its very core, Rise of the Darkspark is a wave-based shooter along a very linear, tight narrative path that for some unknown reason, tried to mix and merge the Cybertron storyline and the Movieverse storyline, which are basically the same thing. So that was unnecessary, to be honest. But still, I digress. Wave-based shooter, sticking you in the boots of some of your favorite Autobots and Decepticons. And, you know, that sort of sounds fine on the surface. It sounds passable, but the shooting is just unsatisfying. The AI is so horrible to fight against. It's from start to finish, just not a fun experience. And it's a shame, really, because, you know, you mentioned that the weapons are the same across both Autobots and Decepticons, but the weapons, in regards to that, are actually quite nice. There's 20 weapons. They're all quite fun. They're all very different. But there's no reason to use anything other than an assault rifle because there's never any challenge at all.
Absolutely. Well, you say
Well,
that.
there is challenge.
I mean, unfortunately, there is challenge because there's these difficulty spikes to the game that seem to come out of nowhere. Just seem completely unjustified. They're not for boss battles because you can breeze through those pretty easy.
Yep.
Just suddenly they'll throw a few sort of floating things at you that can shoot you and you can barely shoot them back, and they can kill you from across the other side of the room.
Yeah,
So we're not fans. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I mean, it does have one saving grace, which is the escalation mode, which is the 4-player co-op. Just basically you and 4 friends against waves of sort of increasingly difficult enemies. It's a little bit fun, not enough to save this package because, you know, it looks awful. It really does look awful, like a sort of mid-gen Xbox 360 game at best, and that's on 360 and next gen. It looks terrible. The audio's bad, the dialogue's terrible and repetitive. It feels rushed, almost haphazard, and I really can't recommend it to anyone. And that's why X1 has given it a 3 out of 10.